It was tremendous the way she helped him pack. In those newsreels, you see men leap off diving boards into pools, only, a moment later, when the reel is reversed, to jump back up in airy fantasy to alight once more safe on the diving board. Now, as Joseph watched, the suits and dresses flew into their boxes and cases. The hats were like birds darting clapped into round, bright hat boxes. The shoes seemed to run across the floor like mice to leap into valises. The suitcases banged shut, the hasps clicked, the keys turned. "There!" she cried, "all packed. Oh, Joe, I'm so glad you let me change your mind." He started for the door. "Here, let me help," he said. "They're not heavy," she said. "But you never carry suitcases. You never have. I'll call a boy." "Nonsense," she said, breathless with the weight of the valises. A boy seized the cases outside the door. "Signora, por favor!" "Have we forgotten anything?" He looked under the two beds, went out on the balcony and gazed at the plaza, came up, went to the bathroom, looked at the cabinet on the washbowl. "Here," he said, coming out and handing her something. "You forgot your wristwatch." "Did I?" She put it on and went to the door. "I don't know," he said. "It's damn late in the day to be moving out." "It's only 3:30, she said. "Only 3:30. "I don't know," he said doubtfully. He looked around the room, stepped out, closed the door, locked it, went downstairs, jingling the keys. On the outside, in the car already, settled in, her coat folded on her lap, her gloved hands folded on the coat, he came out, supervised the loading of what luggage remained into the trunk receptacle, came to the front door and tapped on the window. She unlocked it and let him in. "Well, here we go!" she cried with a laugh, her face rosy, her eyes frantically bright. She was leaning forward, as if by this movement she might set the car rolling merrily down the hill. "Thank you, darling, for letting me get the refund on the money you paid for our room tonight. I'm sure we'll like it much better in Guadalajara tonight. Thank you." "Yeah," he said. Inserting the ignition keys, he stepped on the starter. Nothing happened. He stepped on the starter again. Her mouth twitched. "It needs warming," she said. "It was a cold night last night." He tried again. Nothing. Marie's hands tumbled on her lap. He tried 6 more times. "Well," he said, laying back, ceasing. "Try it again. Next time it'll work," she said. "It's no use," he said. "Something's wrong." "Well, you've got to try it once more." He tried it once more. "It'll work, I'm sure," she said. "Is the ignition on?" "Is the ignition on?" he said. "Yes, it's on." "It doesn't look like it's on," she said. "It's on," he showed her by twisting the key. "Now try it," she said. "There," he said when nothing happened. "I told you." "You're not doing it right. It almost caught that time," she cried. "It'll wear out the battery, and God knows where you can buy a battery here." "Wear it out, then. I'm sure it'll start next time." "Well, if you're so good, you try it." He slipped from the car and beckoned her over behind the wheel. "Go ahead." She bit her lips and settled behind the wheel. She did things with her hands that were a little like a mystic ceremony. With moves of hands and body, she was trying to overcome gravity, friction, and every other natural law. She patted the starter with her toeless shoe. The car remained solemnly quiet. A little squeak came out of Marie's tightened lips. She rammed the starter home, and there was a clear smell in the air as she fluttered on the choke. "You flooded it," he said. "Fine. Get back over on your side, will you?" He got 3 boys to push, and they started the car downhill. He jumped into steer. The car rolled swiftly, bumping and rattling. Marie's face glowed expectantly. "This'll start it," she said. Nothing started. They rolled quietly into the filling station at the bottom of the hill, bumping softly on the cobbles, and stopped by the tanks. She sat there, saying nothing, and when the attendant came from the station, her door was locked, the window up, and he had to come around on her husband's side to make his query.